Hello and good morning to the
Meet
Around the World Show. Today from back in the USA. Just kidding. We are in Real de Catorce, former mining town, former ghost town, and now beautiful touristy town in the state of San Luis Potosi, Mexico.
And there's a reason you saw us in a tunnel, and you'll get to find out all about that in our travel section today. So do stay tuned.
But first, let's have breakfast. So, what's Daddy having for breakfast? He's gonna have a wrap. Oh yeah. We're in Mexico here, but I'm gonna stuff this wrap with some chicharron. It's very famous here in Mexico, and normally it's kind of just dry, crackling, without the meat, but this is very special. It's got the skin, meat, and it's fried in oil or its own lard. It's beautiful. So I chopped it up, and I'm gonna have this as a wrap for breakfast. And then later, when we drive, I show you the dry stuff, the chicharrone. I'll usually chew on that whilst driving. It's beautiful. So yeah, good way to start the day, guys. Meat, a little bit of tomato, onion, coriander, and spicy chili. Oh yeah, here we go. Yummy.
So what's for dinner tonight?
Well, tonight we are going to indulge in a local specialty called Cabrito. But what Cabrito is and where we're gonna eat it, well, more about that at the end of the video, so stick around. We're gonna drive to Motuala. It's about an hour and a half's drive, and we have something to say to you. All right, let's hit the road. So that was our first clue about our local specialty that we're gonna eat tonight. Cabrito. What do we have to tell you? Well, we thought we'd owe you a explanation as to why we're back up in the north of Mexico and kind of all over the show. And yeah, tell you what we've been up to over the last 3 months, 4,000 kilometers and 7,000 waterfalls, right? And we'll give you a little news update of what we're up to in the next few weeks. So yeah, let's catch up.
So as you know, our last chronological travel documentary for you was in Oaxaca. That was a long time ago, 3 months ago actually. And yeah, we've had a lot of specials since then. But anyway, we're going to backtrack, as Richie said. And yeah, so our next state was Chiapas, the southernmost state of Mexico. And we were going to the Guatemalan border, as you know, to try and see whether we were going to Guatemala or if we could extend our visa. As you know, we got that extension. So we saw lots of wonderful highlights, especially lots of waterfalls and ruins of Chiapas, and we met up with our friends, Expeditional Bambinos, and then we went to the state of Campeche in the Yucatan Peninsula. We will be showing you some special editions of both the Yucatan Peninsula and Chiapas in the future, because we are going back to those states. So anyway, let's just go back to our map. We went through the Yucatan, Richie, right?
Yes, right. We went basically around the whole Yucatan Peninsula. First up, as Abigail said, to the state of Campeche, and then the state of Yucatan and Quintana Roo. So we spent a lot of time checking out cenotes, like water sinkholes, because it was very hot and humid. So that was a welcomed little cool off every every day, more or less. Or we hung out at the beach in Quintana Roo, which was beautiful, yeah. But yeah, we'll get back to all of that in a future video, because we will probably go back to those states, Chiapas, Campeche, Yucatan, Quintana Roo, in December and January. On our way south again, because the plan is still to leave Mexico in beginning of February sometime for Guatemala. All right, well, what did we do after that? Well, it was a little too hot and humid for us, so after 2 months of extensive sweating, we wanted to head up north and find cooler climates.
Yes, so that was quite a journey in itself to find some cooler climates. We went through Veracruz, which was an absolute nightmare. As we said in our anniversary show, we got pulled over 3 times by the police and bribed for just being in the wrong place at the wrong time, having tinted windows. Yeah, just ridiculous. We kind of expected that, but we've been lucky so far. But anyway, so we didn't want to be in Veracruz anymore, so we went and took all the back roads over the mountains to San Luis Potosi. But it was still hot and humid, and we kept going around in circles, as you can see on the map. But we got there. We made it to San Luis Potosi, and our first stop was by the lychee farm and by the Edward James Sculpture Park.
Yes, and the state of San Luis Potosi is kind of divided into in the lowlands, where there is jungle and hot and humid climate, and the higher elevated parts, which is very arid and almost a desert. Beautiful. That's where we are now. But we of course had to see a few things before we got up here in the lower parts of San Luis Potosi, and we have checked out the most breathtaking waterfalls we've ever seen in our lives, which was Cascadas de Tamul. But we'll get back to all of that in our next video. We eventually made it to cooler and drier climates after about 2 weeks of non-stop driving, and it got a little old at times. The weather wasn't good either, but yeah. So we chose the campsite of Pedro, El Faro de Pedro, just about 20 minutes north of the city of San Luis Potosi, and spent about almost 2 weeks there. Serviced the truck and the camper, and got to know Pedro's family very well, and went out for dinner. They invited us for the Sunday family get together. We had a wonderful time. We met Raul, a German fellow. He lives at the campsite, so he took us out on his hovercraft boat. There was a lake nearby, and we had a ton of fun every evening, grilling at the campfire. And went to the zoo and San Luis Potosi and everything, and yeah. But now we're up in Real de Catorce, and yeah, you'll learn all about that in this video. So, what are we up to in the next few weeks? So I'll let Abigail tell you that.
Yes, so I'm actually flying to England with Zoe, just Zoe and I. Richie doesn't really want to faff around with all the COVID restrictions in England, which I am discovering there are lots. Even the differences between quarantining in England and Wales, it's a nightmare, and hopefully when I return I will be able to tell you all about that and how it went. But it's been a long overdue visit. I've been quite homesick, and it's part of the reason why we did extend our visas in Mexico, was so that we could do this. So yeah, in 2 weeks time Zoe and I will be flying out of Mexico City. I'm gonna go see my mom and the rest of the family, and hopefully some friends. Cool. So yeah, after San Luis Potosi, we are traveling south back down to Teotihuacan.
All right, let's let another cat out of the bag for pork. This is chicharron. Pork skin, fried pork skin. It's crackly and ever so yummy. So that's my go-to snack whilst driving. Love it. Oh. So the road to and from Real de Catorce is a 25-kilometer cobblestone road. It's actually in good shape. A little bumpy, as you can hear. And see, yeah.
Wobbling about a bit.
But we tried to approach the town from the other side. And we're gonna take you to that side of the mountain right now. So buckle up, put in 4 low, and
enjoy the ride.
Enjoy the ride. We're out in the middle of nowhere on our way to Real de Catorce, and what do we see? A sign saying Tropic of Cancer. Woo! Here we go. Very cool. We've passed that now a few times in Mexico. It kinda dawned on us that this might not be the main road to Real de Catorce, but we have 4-wheel drive. We can do this, right? The only other vehicles that came across were these cool looking Jeeps or Dinas from the 70s and motorbikes. The road got worse and more narrow. There was one tiny town on the way, but it was so narrow that I had to cut down branches of trees 3 times until my saw broke. But this time I knew this was a bad idea and got a little nervous. That's why we didn't film the tree cutting. Nevertheless, we pushed on. But more because there wasn't a single opportunity to turn. Let's say we bit off a little too more than we can chew, right?
After all this, all these bends and cliffhangers.
Yeah, that was a crazy drive. Yep. A little too crazy. There's only Jeeps and motorcycles up here, so we're a bit taller and wider, and the wheelbase is bigger. So, yeah, we call it a night here.
Yeah.
We almost made it to Real Catorce, but from this side, with our big rig, no chance. It's just, well, it's not far. We're very close. It's like if you can see up there, there's a house. Yeah, maybe a mile away from Real de Catorce. But the road gets more crazy, and there's one particular corner that we probably won't make. People have said there's like 1 or 2 spots on the whole stretch here that you can pull over and turn around. So yeah, it's getting dark soon, so we'll just wing it out here, and tomorrow we'll see what we will do. Maybe we walk up there, maybe we hitch a ride, maybe we go the long way around. Who knows? But it sure was an adventure driving up here, man. All right, good night. We're up, beautiful weather. And behind me, you can see the road leading up there, which is a little bit too steep and narrow for us. There's a little bridge, I understand. I talked to some locals here, the Jeep drivers, and they recommended me to turn around here. So this is pretty much the only spot we can turn around. That's where we spent the night. We will now drive all the way down again and the long way around. And approach the Real de Catorce from the other side, because on top of it there's a tunnel on top of the at the entrance of the of Real de Catorce, and we wouldn't pass because it's we're too high, so no chance either way. But it sure is an adventure driving up here. If I'd known, I probably wouldn't have done it, but hey ho, here we are, and that's some crazy road. All right, catch you later.
Good, 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 okay, good, 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 good. All right, whoa. You did it! Woo!
I'm usually not easily scared, but this road succeeded. Knowing that I had to drive all the way down again the next morning kept me awake that night. But we made it back down and onto tarmac again, safely. Two hours later, we approached a town from the north. How easy was that? So we're on the other side now, and there's a tunnel, about 2.5 kilometers, but we can't fit with the camper, so we had to park, and now we are hitching a ride. It was all worthwhile. Real de Catorce is beautiful. It used to be a silver mining town, then it became a ghost town, but has slowly been revitalized to what it is today, a charming Pueblo Magico, high up in the mountains of San Luis Potosi.
We made it to the letters, Real de Catorce. This place has taken me by surprise. It's so beautiful. And
Really is, yeah.
And they're getting ready for the Day of the Dead, in Spanish that is.
Dia de Muertos.
Yep, and it's beautiful. It's not full of skulls and things. We've got lovely butterflies. And yeah, this...
What's wrong with the skulls? I love them.
They scare me. And just look at this view.
Yeah, it's beautiful.
Oh,
Check it out. We're back. That was good. Our visit to Real de Catorce was a success. Beautiful little town, beautiful weather, good food, and what else?
Beautiful wife.
Of course.
It was great, yeah, and just driving through the tunnel was such an experience, being on a pickup truck on the way back, and a lovely couple on the way there. Yeah, fantastic day.
Yeah.
Very relaxed vibe. We love Real de Catorce.
Muy bonito.
Muy bien. Come back.
Yes. 4.
Yay!
Mommy, look, and me.
That's hard.
Zo, minigolf spelen doen. So a few days later, we were back. From the north, of course. El Dia de Muertos is one of the biggest holidays in Mexico. That takes place on November the 1st and 2nd, to honor the loved ones who have passed away. We were here on November the 2nd, and that's the day when everybody goes to the cemetery and decorates the graves and spends some time with family that is no longer with us. We've now arrived at our campground here at Las Palmas in Matuala. We freshened up and we're going out for dinner to eat Cabrito in a restaurant. Yay!
Made it, and we're gonna go and eat some Cabrito al pastor.
You bet. Just got invited to take a few photos in the kitchen here. That's awesome, man. Oh, here we go. Hola, buenas tardes. That's the Cabrito. Oh, look at it. Yay. A la asada. Sí, asada.
Bueno,
Sí.
hay diferentes,
Hay- ¿sí?
diferentes guisos, pero esta es la especialidad de nosotros.
Ok. Es muy rico. Sí. Ajá. Listo. Gracias. Okay. So that's Cabrito. I've just been to the kitchen, invited to see how they do it, and yeah, they grill it, and it's wow, it's muy rico. Okay, I gotta eat.
I just had a jalapeno.
Ah, papas fritas. Ah. Okay, how do you like the?
The baby goat is amazing. It's so tender.
Yep,
and,
beautiful. Oh yeah.
It does not have that like lamb. That lamb.
No,
taste.
no, it's not. No, it's.
It's really lovely.
Yeah.
I can only recommend it.
Okay, I almost forgot. It's just like everything in Mexico. You cut the meat and then you make your own tacos. I just digging in the meat, but yeah, I'm making a taco.
A blue tortilla,
Yeah. Meat, onions,
blue corn.
and some salsa, right? Oh. There you go. Muy rico. Very good. Oh, mommy goes for seconds. That's beautiful. We got to move to the north of Mexico. That's where the meat is.
Yeah, we've seen a lot of cowboys.
Oh yeah.
I think Richie's found his place.
Yeah, it's like the Wild West here. It's bone dry and there's meat.
The meat,
Oh.
you get plenty, and it's good.
It's good, yeah. Hasta luego, muchas gracias. Okay, vamos. Muchas gracias. Hasta luego.
How did you like your
So
meat?
how was it, Zoe? How was it? Did you like the meat, Zoe? Cabrito?
Yeah. She
What
just
did
wants
you
to
eat?
get down.
What did you eat? The bone?
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
She just came out and she just said that was a good restaurant. Didn't
That
you?
was very good, right?
Can you say that again?
Very good.
It was, and everyone really friendly.
Very friendly.
Great that we had
Yeah.
a backstage look.
Oh yeah. No, it's been a success. All right. Well, thank you all for watching, and we'll meet you again soon.
Around the world.
Around the world. All right.
Bye bye.
Bye bye.
Zoe, say goodbye. Oh. Say bye bye.
Bye bye. Du sollst mich sagen, Zoe. Kuckuck, wo ist Zoe? Mein Mensch, sage, wo ist Zoe? Where's Zoe?